Hey guys, what's up? I hope everyone's keeping safe and healthy out there. Today I'm going to talk to you about how you might be able to improve your game and save a little bit of money just by using one of these. A flight punch. There's probably a lot of you out there who already use a flight punch, and you may also use Cosmo flights or L-style flights and the sort of things that help protect the stems. They don't cost you so much money. But what I'll do today is I'll go through why I feel like this bit of kit is the most economically productive bit of kit that I have, and how it revolutionised my game. I certainly saw an improvement once I started using it. I'll go through exactly how you can use it and where you can buy it from. So I'll let you have a closer look at this flight punch that I have. And it's just like a hole punch that you have at work or at school, but it punches a narrow hole in the flight of your darts so that it sits securely in the stems. So even if you do use flight rings and the highest quality stems, you might experience a lot of Robin Hoods when you play. Now the problem with Robin Hoods is they limit your scoring, so if that dart's not going into the board, then you're not going to increase your scoring power. And secondly, it's going to damage the stems and end up making you having to make more orders on darts websites and ending up spending a lot more money. The alternative to this at the moment is things like Cosmo flights, the all-in-one setups, but if you use them, you'll know they don't come cheap. So to bankroll them for yourself, it's going to cost you a few quid. So the happy medium is to go for the flight punch. So what I'll do is I'll go through exactly what happens typically. So these set of darts I've just set up, they are standard flight, standard stem, and I've not put a ring in here. But if you use a ring, it can stop Robin Hoods a little bit, but for the sake of this, it's not enough of a difference for me to go through two different alternatives. So a Robin Hood is literally like the tail itself of Robin Hood. It's two arrows, one through the back of the other. So a Robin Hood is when the dart hits the board and your second dart comes in, and rather than going in the board, it slides down the flight of the first dart and sticks into the stem with such force, hopefully, that it stays there, like that. So you don't score any points for that dart. And also what tends to happen is this dart and this stem become damaged. So before I got a flight punch, I was spending fortunes on having stems that ended up either like that, where whole sections of them bend and just split off with the force of the original dart, or they'd go like that, and you would just gradually over time open that up and the flights would fall out of the back, or you spend forever buying rings because the rings would get damaged trying to grip the flight in there. Basically it was a bit of a pain in the arse, but there was a way that you could get through that. And a friend of mine recommended this to me, and I started seeing darts players do it on TV, and I thought, why not give it a go? Now, using a dart flight punch, the flights themselves stay much more securely in the dart. This makes you more confident when you throw them. It makes the dart into a one unit piece of equipment. Therefore, if you're throwing one item at the board rather than loads stuck together with flimsy bits hanging off, it might compromise the ability of it to fly truly. I certainly find that I've got much more faith in my darts letting them go when they're flight punched. So in order to flight punch the darts, it's as simple as this. This is all you need. So firstly, you need the flight punch itself. As I say, they cost £2 or £3, never really much more than £5 or £6. Next, you need a set of 3 standard flights, or any flights that you use. My flights are 100 micron, so they're nice and thick. I use the Prism flights. Then you need your stems, and your stems must have rings in them. And then lastly, you need your 3 darts. So it's a really simple process here. The first thing you have to do is slot the flights into the flight punch. It's got a specially shaped groove to allow the flight to sit nicely in the flight punch, and you make your holes. So it leaves a lovely hole, just big enough for the ring to sit through. So hopefully you can see that there. You can see the hole that it leaves in the flight. So you do that for all 3 flights. So it's as easy as that. Now comes the fiddly part. So with all 3 flights now with a hole punched through them, you've got to put them into the stems themselves. So the first thing you need to do is separate the ring from the stem. Take the flight and open it up as you normally would, and then you carefully just pop the ring into the gap in between. This can be a bit fiddly, and if you drink when you play darts, it's a good idea to do this before you leave the house or before you've had too many. And then it sits quite securely in the flight there. Then you take your stem with the flight which has the punch and the ring already in it, and you put the stem through as you would anyway. You push that through and you give it some force down like that. And you take your dart, as you normally would, stem into the barrel, and you're there. Now the difference you have now is this flight, like I'm giving that a good pull before that comes off. You can put that on and off like that, and that is solid. I'm giving that a proper pull and that's not coming off. Whereas the darts I showed you earlier, it is literally as soft as that. So it just pulls off and on really easily like that, which gives you obviously more space for you to hit the stem of the dart with Robin Hoods, but it also means that the dart's more likely to fall out on impact on the board and fall on the floor. So you have that in comparison to that. Really giving that a squeeze, and that's not coming off. And once you have all 3 darts punched and ringed, you're ready to go. Now in my opinion, these fly much truer than ordinary darts that are just sat in the stem. I've also thrown with Cosmo flights and all-in-one stem and flight combos, and they probably fly just as true, if not truer than these, but the costs of those flights and how often I'd go through them just at the amount that I practice probably wouldn't be cost effective. So I really don't see any reason not to go with these. The amount of money that I spend on flights and stems is so limited. I just buy 4 or 5 sets of stems at a time. I've had these prism set. Well, you'll see I did a video a while ago on a delivery with a set of stems at the same time as I got the nodled board. So it's 3 or 4 weeks ago, and not one of them has broken yet. They've not even split even a little bit. So they're going to last me. I've got 4 or 5 sets of those, so 15 stems, and I expect them to last me the best part of 6 months at least. So give it a go. It's just £3 or £4. If you're looking for a way to make your flight of your dart more secure, have a bit more confidence in your game, and reduce your outgoings on things like flights and stems, and for the sake of £4 or £5, I couldn't recommend a flight hole punch anymore.